Hey everybody, welcome to Indie Games Level Up. I'm your host, Phil Lubensky. I'm standing inside what used to be an old mattress factory. Now it houses offices, artist studios, as well as Tuque Games. I'm gonna go have a talk with them about their upcoming release, World War Machine. Indie Games Level Up is produced by Handmade. Handmade creates compelling live action and animation, including video game trailers, commercials, and this web series. To find out more, visit handmadecreative.ca. This episode is sponsored by the Canada Media Fund. Since 2010, they've invested over $50 million in Canadian indie game studios. The Canada Media Fund is proud to help Indie Games Level Up explore innovation and creativity in indie games. All right, so before we jump to the interview, let me tell you a bit more about the game. World War Machine is a top-down, hack-and-slash action RPG. It's set in a post-human world where war is rampant and the AI have completely forgotten about their human origins. It's a fast-paced game. It's got really tight controls, really responsive gameplay. Reminds me a lot of Diablo. All right, that sums it up. Let's jump to the interview. So hey everybody, I'm sitting here with game maker and founder of Tuque Games, Jeff Haddam. Jeff, welcome. So my first question to you is, could you give me the elevator pitch for World War Machine?
The elevator pitch for World War Machine is you bash robots, get parts, upgrade your machine, and then bash more robots, get bigger parts, and upgrade your machine. That's the elevator pitch. I mean, we worked on the backstory for World War Machine with writer, his name is Daniel H. Wilson. He wrote a book called Robopocalypse, and it's a New York Times best-selling book. And he's a fanatic of robotics, just like I am. He's got a PhD in robotics. But I mean, don't kid yourself. It's about bashing robots. that's what it is about.
I really love the post-apocalyptic sort of attention to detail.
A lot of people really love it, and I think it's because it's different. You know, it would have been easy for us to do like a sci-fi game where we're building mechs and we get the classic Japanese style mech warrior kind of looking mechs. But just like I did with Daniel, I reached out to Aaron Beck. Aaron Beck is an artist who works for Weta. And I just reached out to him and he thought our idea was cool and he was okay, you know what, I'm gonna make robots for you. No one's gonna have ever seen anything like it. Some of them are going to be beastly, some of them are going to look like animals, some of them are just going to look like nothing else you've ever seen, and it's been really cool to have him work with us on that.
What's innovative about the game mechanics in World War Machine?
Well, we're making an action RPG, and the innovative mechanics in the game are really like taking the genre back to its roots. And I kind of feel like action RPGs over the years have tended to go more to the RPG side and forgot completely the action side. So what we're doing to make it more actiony is we're implementing a direct control of the character. So we got like a twin stick shooter kind of setup.
So in our game, you move and attack at the same time. So this creates, although it sounds like a subtle kind of innovation, it actually creates a hugely different gameplay where you're always kind of moving, you're on the fly. So your skill at controlling your machine allows you to survive or to attack enemies better, to play better. We have a very interesting class system, which allows the player to create a hybrid class from 2 of 5 power systems. We got a weapon system, a mobility system, sensor system, protection system, and OS. So each of those governs different parts of the robot. Each of these has a specific role, and the player can choose 2 of these 5 to create their own class.
In action RPGs, your character usually has abilities, and in World War Machine, these abilities are called functions.
Yes.
Personally, I really like what you guys did with functions. Could you explain to me a little bit more about how that works in the game, and what was the logic behind that?
We knew we needed to create to give the player some abilities, like you said. And, but we didn't want to do the traditional mana pool. Robots don't have mana. I guess humans don't have mana either, but they do in the fantasy world, which is great. Basically, we have another system, well, 2 systems really. One that improves your cooldown times for one use, but another one that kind of increases your pool. So it's kind of a halfway between mana and not having it at all, just having simple cooldowns. So we have an orbital strike, which is kind of a beam that comes down, destroys everything on the ground. It's super fun. I can maybe do that twice in a row by building up my use count. So I can kind of shoot everything on the screen and be like, yeah, great, took care of those guys. But then I'm gonna have to wait longer for it to build back up.
He's like our production manager. Well, Montreal is an awesome place to make games, for sure. You have skilled people that have experience. And then also, I think one of the most important things and the most underrated things is the culture. We're consistently successful with our titles in Europe and in North America that a lot of studios in the States, for example, or just in Europe, can't bridge that gap. And I think that has a lot to do with culture.
What would you say are some of the key advantages of working as an indie?
For me personally, I think that the love that you get from the other indies in the same situation as you is like super helpful. I've been helped immensely by other studios in town. I'm just having so much fun on a day-to-day basis that it's really hard for me to see the disadvantages.
What's your mantra?
Get shit done. We should probably have one. See, that's a good, we should probably have one, right? You're working with a great bunch of people who really care about making something quality, and being able to interact with them on a daily basis. I'm able to do that here. I'm able to talk with people on a personal basis and say, what do you think would make the game better? How can we do this?
Awesome. Thank you, Matt, for having me.
Thanks very much.
So you guys, for more info on the game, visit worldwarmachine.com.